Hi everybody, welcome back to our Chapter 4 and 5 review quiz. In the video just before this one, we answered the first 5 questions of the quiz. In this video, we'll answer the second 5 questions. We will use the same worksheet that you started in the first video for the Chapter 4 and 5 quiz. Now we run into some inventory calculation problems. A company had the following purchases during the year. In January, they purchased 18 units of inventory at a cost of $12 each. February, 26 units at $13 each. In May, they purchased 35 units at $14 each. September, 32 units at $15 each. And in November, 20 units at $16 each. Then it goes on to tell us that on December 31st, there were 50 units remaining in inventory. These were 50 unsold units. Everything here was sold except 50 units. These 50 units consisted of 4 from the January purchase, 6 from the February purchase, 8 from the May purchase, 12 from the September purchase, and all 20 from the November purchase. So using specific identification, what is the cost of the ending inventory? When you run across an cost flow assumption calculation, you have to ask yourself, am I supposed to be calculating cost of goods sold or the cost of the ending inventory? So read the question carefully. And in this question they say, what is the cost of the ending inventory? So go ahead and calculate that. Pause your video and then start the video again to check your work. So it tells us that unsold units in ending inventory consisted of 4 of the January purchase at $12 each, 6 of the February purchase at $13 each, 8 of the May purchase at $14 each, 12 of the September purchase at $15 each, and all 20 of the November purchase at $16 each. So here's the quantity of items unsold in ending inventory at December 31st. Multiply those across, and the ending inventory under specific identification was $738. So the answer is C. Number 7. A company had cost of goods sold of $9,421,000, an ending inventory of $2,089,000, an average inventory of $1,965,000. What is the days sales in inventory? Days sales in inventory equals ending inventory divided by cost of goods sold times 365. 365 because there are 365 days in a year. They told us that cost of goods sold was ending inventory was $2,089,000 and that cost of goods sold was $9,421,000. Divide this number by that number and then multiply the result times 365 and you calculate 80.93. So days sales and inventory is 80.9 days. Answer number E. A company has inventory of 20 units at a cost of $120 each on July 1st. That's beginning inventory for the month of July. It's what was left over for the month of June. On July 5th, they purchased 30 units at $130 per unit. And on July 12th, they purchased 35 more units at $140 per unit. Then on July 15th, they sold 45 units. Using FIFO, calculate the ending inventory after the July 15th sale. Did you calculate ending inventory under FIFO of $5,550? That is the correct answer. And all we really needed to do was this calculation right here to calculate the ending inventory. But in order to stay organized, I went ahead and set up the whole problem. I laid out the beginning inventory of 20 units at $120 is $2,400 available for sale. July 5th purchase of 30 units at $130 is $3,900 available for sale. And July 12th purchase of 35 units at $140 equals $4,900 available for sale. So I added all three of those layers to calculate a total of $11,200 inventory available for sale before that July 15th sale. I did not have to calculate cost of goods sold. It's not called for in this problem, but it helps me to stay organized. So I said under FIFO, we assign the cost of the oldest inventory first, and then work progressively to our newest inventory. First in, first out. We sold 45 units. So I took all of the inventory in this first layer and assigned it to cost of goods sold. 20 units at $120 is $2,400 cost of goods sold. Then to equal the 45 units that we sold, we needed the cost of an additional 25 units. And I could take that full cost of $130 each out of the July 5th layer because there were 30 units in that layer. So if 25 of them were sold, then 5 of them were not sold. So 25 times 130 is $3,250 cost of goods sold. Add up the total cost of goods sold and you calculate 5,650 of cost of goods sold. Then let's look at the ending inventory. We used all of the beginning layer in cost of goods sold. So nothing is left over in the beginning layer. We had 30 units available from the July 5th purchase. We assigned the cost of 25 of those to cost of goods sold. Therefore, the cost of 5 of them remain unsold in ending inventory. 5 at $130 equals $650. We didn't touch the last layer at all, the newest layer. 35 at $140 each equals $4,900. Add up your cost of your ending inventory and it's $5,550. So the answer is B. Given the same facts as question number 8 above, calculate the ending inventory after the July 15th sale using the LIFO perpetual inventory method. I set this problem up in the exact same way I set up the previous problem. I calculated the same goods available for sale of 11,200, but then under LIFO, we assigned the cost of the most recent items purchased to cost of goods sold. So the full 35 units at $140 ends up in cost of goods sold, leaving none in ending inventory. we sold 45 units. So I need to take 10 more units out of the July 5th layer at a cost of $130. Gives cost of goods sold of $1,300. And if there were 30 units available in the July 5th layer, and we assigned the cost of 10 of them to cost of goods sold, then the cost of 20 of them has to be in ending inventory because they were not sold. I added up my cost of goods sold, $6,200, and I said we did not touch this beginning layer at all, so it's 20 units at 120 in ending inventory. I added up my ending inventory under LIFO at $5,000. So the answer is C. Given the same facts as in question number 8 above, calculate ending inventory after the July 15th sale using the weighted average perpetual inventory method. Hint: round the average cost per unit to the nearest dollar before multiplying that cost times the number of units in ending inventory. I set up my cost of goods available for sale in the same manner that I did in the prior two problems, because they're the same numbers. I did get a column set aside solely for the quantity, and the beginning is 20, the July 5th is 30, and the July 12th they purchased 35, because I know that under weighted average I have to get the total cost of all goods available for sale, that's $11,200, and divide it by the number of units I own. So I had to add up the units I own, 85 units. 11,200 divided by 85 gets an average cost per unit of $131.76. And it says round that before going any further. That rounds to $132. There were 85 units available. We sold 45. That means that there are 40 not sold, still in ending inventory. 40 times $132 each equals ending inventory of $5,280 under weighted average. The answer is B. Well, I hope you did well on these 2 pages of this quiz. If you did, give yourself a big pat on the back. If you did not, then you need to study chapters 4 and 5 a little bit more. See you next time.